Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday. I messed up yesterday. Today is Wednesday. How could I forget? Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. Yeah, it's October 15th. Got a little thing going on later, as my guest said right before we went live. But you are in the Java Cafe this morning. Listen, we are here early this morning because we need to know that we need to have Black joy. Despite a lot of things that is going on in our community that Mayor Wu is fighting against. Yesterday from the Oval Office, there was a blatant all-out attack on the city of Boston, and also Mayor Wu, though there was a comment about, out of all the other mayors, she's intelligent. And then we're going to talk about our reentry community, something that's going on with BMC, I believe this Friday. And so we're going to speak with first this morning. We have the good brother, the curator of Black Boy Joy, specifically around just taking up space for Black boys and Black men, and how important rather at this time Black joy really is. And so we're getting ready to speak with Craig Martin. Speaking of the reentry community in our 9:30 hour, we're here for 2 hours today, 8:30, 9, and 9:30. But in the 9:30 hour, we're going to talk about reentry. And I can't speak about with reentry without talking about a miracle that took place in the release of Brother Fuquan. And so Brother Stephen Pena is on, and he's been on the Java Cafe before, and I'm sure at some point we'll get to speak with him. But that's another reason why we need to be very intentional about our Black boy joy, because there's so much that fights us. And so do me a favor. We are early this morning. Some of our regular viewers are probably not even up yet. So do me a favor, hit that like and share button. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you subscribe. Also on Facebook and Instagram as well. So without further ado, I'm going to bring this great brother into the room by the name of, and he's not a stranger to the Java Cafe, but by the name of Craig Aarons Martin, who is a certified, bona fide educator, curator, celebrator of Black joy, celebrator of people, celebrator of those who are marginalized, curator of analytical thought around a lot of life's issues that impact everybody, but specifically for those that have multiple intersections of marginalization. So Craig, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, brother. How you feeling this morning?
I'm honestly, positively numb, excited, anxious, nervous, appreciative, and full of gratitude, and especially this Black boy got some joy this morning. So I'm excited to have you here, man. Excited to have you here. So say good morning to the folks, and give me one word after you say good morning. Give me one word that describes the current state of your Black boy joy.
Well, good morning, family. I am so excited to be in community with Jimmy, in the Java with Jimmy community, just sending y'all love and light. I am feeling radical this morning.
You're feeling radical this morning about your Black boy joy. Okay, I can have some presumed context there, but give us some context to why you feel radical about it, because the truth is, well, never mind. Give us your reason why. I was getting ready to give you my own answer. Hold on, we got you back. I was getting ready to give you my own answer, but why do you say that you're radical about your Black boy joy?
We're in a time, I mean, you already laid the groundswell that anyone who is rebuking the supremacy, this white supremacy that is, that has always been in the blood of the soil. Anytime that we actually show up and we continue to lean into what we know to be true, the blood, sweat, and investment of our ancestors, man, we show up dancing, getting our boots on the ground, whether or not we marching, doing our thing. Like, we show up because we radically are connected to the divine in a way that some folks don't get. And so no matter how many times they've tried to take us out, man, we keep showing up. We keep living and leaning in on the divine, on God. And I think that is why some folks feel threatened and tried their best to eradicate us. And it's not happening. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week. Matter of fact, tonight we're going to be at the Red Cup Awards, man, enjoying let's look, getting our boots on the ground, doing what we do.
First of all, I thought I was going to try to convince myself to try to learn it in case it happens tonight, and Jeff 2 times plays it. But y'all will have y'all boots on the ground. I'm going to be right there clapping and encouraging you all. But no, I mean, that is an example of taking up space, and shout out to the Museum of Science for allowing us to bring that Black boy joy, Black media there. So in that, Craig, tell us a little bit about yourself, because education, I believe, is a big part of our Black boy joy, and you have found joy in being an educator. I know that about you. So you've been here before, but tell us a little bit about you, because I think in that's going to let some of the folks know why you're radical about your Black boy joy, in addition to the things that fight it. So a little bit about you, and then we're going to talk about, you know, and we got to stop saying, and we get it, we say it jokingly, you know, you got a little thing Saturday, I got a little thing tonight. But these are big things. These are things that are taking up space and have huge and big impact. And so we'll go into that in a few minutes as well. Tell us a little bit about you, and lead into how you took your practice and turned this into practicum, in a sense, for, well, practice and practicum are the same, but an event, a summit that brings boys and men together, and some women as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was birthed when I was 14 years old. When I was actually, this was when I was 10. I knew at 14 I was going to be a teacher, but at 10, I had a 5th grade teacher who exiled me out of my own classroom because of my genius, my brilliance, my Blackness, I believe. I was in a Catholic school in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I finished my work and my assignments on time, did what I need to do, was reading above grade level, and I was in a community that already knew who I was and loved me. And so this was the new teacher who didn't understand that. And so in that moment, which for 2 months, I literally was outside of my classroom because that teacher did not know how to engage me or reach me. It birthed something in me, a fire not to destroy, but actually to create and build. And so I became an educator, went to Dillard University. Shout out to all the HBCUs. So I'm an HBCU grad all day, right? And it created this pathway of empowering me to actually learn the craft of being a master educator with other Black and brown folks. And then started out in New Orleans, Louisiana, teaching. I went to Texas and spent 3 years in North Dallas. And then I found myself here in Boston, where in Boston, I have served at the Nathan Hale School in Roxbury, baby, where I was a technology specialist and a grade 5 teacher. I worked at the Hig Lou when it was grades 3 through 8, and I was a 3rd grade all boys teacher. And then I was appointed principal of the Michael J. Perkins School. I was proud principal of the Michael J. Perkins School in South Boston, historically known for busting, right? And then I got appointed to being, well, actually, I then transitioned to become a leader in a charter community. And throughout my time and throughout my journey, I've also served in the inaugural My Brother's Keeper Boston for, Black men. I also built a lot of programming for mentoring Black and brown boys. The Brown Boys of Ed Camp, Brown Boys of Boston Ed Camp was actually a G's to bridge this opportunity to bring parents and educators into conversation, breaking bread and figuring out how do we break through the systemic inequities of having Black and brown boys who highly represented in special education. How do we do the work intentionally to support teachers and and paraprofessionals and leaders on how do we actually engage, enrich, enlighten, and amplify the best of who we are and create practices that actually are sustainable but transformative in our lives. So I believe my call has always been about creating healthy and hearty ecosystems where we can thrive. And I've worked in partnership with so many organizations across the city over the last 2 decades.
I was getting ready to put this back up, and because I you just drew us in, and I wanted to. You did not sip. So you know, when we sip in the Java Cafe, there's just a little, you know, just a little shade there. So you let the people know, you know what I mean, the foundation of who you are, and also how it informs this space of the Black Joy Summit. And so I'm going to let folks know who may be popping in and need to leave. The link is actually hyperlinked in the comments, and so if you want more information, please go check out that link. And if you're watching on James, I'm in the process now of making sure that we post it there as well. And so how did what you just shared with us about, you know, being an educator, living life, being a Black man, that's enough of a qualifier, from life experience, living through and creating your own Black Boy Joy? What was the transition to last year to where it became an actual event? And then I'm noticing Uncle Thaddeus the other day, he posted a bit now. I'll be honest, you sent me the text and I missed it. But Uncle Thaddeus posted a journal. So got a couple things to cover, from criteria to, you can't share screen here, but you can send me the link. Go ahead. I seen it. Go ahead and get it.
You talk about this? Talk about the journal? Oh, okay. You know.
Do me a favor. Just take your cup and just take a sip again. That qualified a sip. Matter of fact, I'll take one with you. Hold on.
Okay. You know how we do.
Of all days, you cannot make me lose my keyboard or my laptop. Oh my goodness, brother. Okay, so, you know, being an educator, seeing your community, what went from the micro, what switched from the micro to the macro for you that began last year?
So it was actually, you know, the Godfather himself. He and I was talking at Thaddeus and I were talking about just Black men. You know, there's just an incredible collection of folks in the community who are doing this work, who are actually infusing heart and intention into creating spaces for Black and brown boys and men across the city. And I'm grateful that that has existed. Me as an educator needing a space specifically for me. And I think about like Devin Morris, who does the Teachers Lounge. And so like in the conversation with that is at Boston Wild Black, we were on the lawn at the D. We was talking about like, hey, we want to create something for youth. And I was like, well, I think this is possible. Let's do it. And so the Black Boy Joy Summit was birthed like over us hanging out, looking at folks enjoying themselves on the lawn in the D. And I was like, it's about to happen. And so for me, the Black Boy Joy Summit is an opportunity to amplify, empower, and create the kind of energy where Black boys and Black men Black and brown boys and men, because I recognize the multiracial aspects of this as well, where we can actually help them to cultivate their own hero stories. That in this community, we have so many people on the ground who are entrepreneurs, who are creatives, innovators, some unsung heroes who are doing some phenomenal work in the community. And all I think that sometimes we need is we just need someone to help ignite us, to know that it's possible. And I know that there's so many programs in the community that already have formidable programming, like Young Man with a Plan, that actually are catered to the needs of our Black and brown youth. And so for me, it was like, we'll be a hearth, we'll be a connector. We're not trying to replace anything that already exists. We're just trying to say, hey, for me as a teacher, as a school leader, I know that I probably spent on average a week 5 or 10 hours trying to find community programming that actually tapped into some of what already existed, because we didn't have the bandwidth or the capacity to actually do the work on the ground. So some folks were like, well, where can I plug in? Where can I connect? Where can I go? And so for us, and for me, it was like, well, I just want people to know that like a program like Young Man with a Plan actually exists. And knowing that if from represents from Young Man with a Plan or Team Empowerment or others actually come and do workshops or are an exhibitor, then families who don't know can actually tap in and become part of that experience beyond the summit. But I also wanted young people to know this platform was created for them to actually call us in as adults and say, hey, this is what I need. I know you all are thinking about us. You have created investments in us in different ways. But now this is an opportunity for them to workshop their ideas, their dreams in a safe manner where it's a youth-only space for them to have workshops. This year, we have adult workshops because we heard from parents and educators, hey, I want to be in the room too. But we wanted you to actually have a safe space to really think about, nurture, and nourish ideas and dreams in spaces that matter. And we also wanted to make sure that they also found inspiration. So I'm glad that you, Devin Morris, Gavin Smith, that is, our great godfather, Thaddeus Miles, also was part of this experience. And young people are still talking about this a year later. So I'm excited to see some of them show up for this year's event.
Go ahead.
I just want to share that code that you got in there. That code dies today. This is buy one, get one free.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I'm getting ready. So I believe that the code that I have right now is the one to the actual event.
Yes.
And that ends today, that you can register for free. And I believe the cost is only $15.
Well, it's right now it's 20. So that
20, okay.
So this is getting you in for $10. And so if you're a parent, you're a youth, you're an educator, you're a paraprofessional, you are someone who's in the community, you actually can come to the event, be fed, enjoy all that there is to be for $10. I'm like, that's less than most meals you get at any fast food place.
Listen, don't get me started about pricing and tariffs and all that other stuff now.
Right.
So Craig, the other thing I wanted to make sure that folks knew, that you hold it up again. Hold on, let me get a full screen. Wait. We want to, I do some post-production now. Let me get things together here so we can capture it correctly. So let me get not yet. Wait, I'm going to tell you. Hold on.
All right, let me get right in church. Let me. My mom was watching. Okay, let me act right.
I feel my face getting red. You got me here falling out. Hold on. Let me get I want to get the link to. Come on, James. All right, get the link. No, I want to copy. Jesus Lord, I can do this. I've been doing this for a few years. I can do it. Okay, so we have the link ready. I want you full screen. So show us the book.
Yeah, so the Black Boy Joy Blueprint was an extension of this event, creating, again, prompts, activities, conversations for young people to have with themselves and with others around how do I help, how do I dream bigger? Who is in my network? Where is my Avenger squad? Like, who are the people who I can plug into who are going to help me to activate this dream that I have? How do I take care of myself? What are the ways I want to ensure that I'm well and I'm strong and I'm doing the things that I need to do? What does joy look like for me? Like, what's my playlist for when I absolutely feel like, look, the world is at me. I'm all at the wall. I'm all cried out. I'm tired. The world is coming at me. I don't know whether or not I want to be here anymore. Like, that exists for them. And then how can I lead with greatness? And one of the things that I'm super excited about is, like, we have state representative Chris Worrell, who's going to drop in, city councilman Henry Santana is going to be coming by. I'm excited about that. Councilwoman Julia Mejia is going to show up. We have some folks who are coming from the Attorney General's office. So we have a lot of folks who absolutely have been supportive. Kudos and shout outs to even Governor Healy, who supported us last year. Ruth C., our wonderful city councilwoman president, she gave us love. Liz Miranda gave us love as well. And so I'm super excited for all those who are going to be in community supporting us in whatever ways. Like this blueprint, this event, this experience would not be possible if we didn't have their support. And I'm so excited. I'm dropping this dime. I'm dropping this now here. We're expanding this to Black Boy Joy University. So we are actually like that. That's new tea, man. So Black Boy Joy University is going to be master classes, live talks in a community. It's going to be a hurt that will help to continue to nourish and create a space specifically for folks, not just in the city, but globally, who are continuing to have conversations on how do we affirm, empower, educate, uplift, engage in some of the tough conversations or critical conversations about like, why are our boys showing up and they may be just more disengaged? Why is there higher rates of suicide ideations among us? Why is it that so many are experiencing depression and anxiety? And how do we also create the space specifically for youth that also have a lifeline, that we have a whole like entire setup for them that they can engage and know that they're going to get the support? We'll have some folks on, like I can visualize like you having a hearth where you can call in or text somebody who is going to respond back to you and say, hey brother, we got you on the line. We're going to make sure we support you. We're going to try to plug you into some existing resources, because sometimes Black boys, like I have one right now who all he wants to do is text me. All he's looking for right now is affirmation. He's just looking for a little bit of nourishment. And if that's what I can do in between what I'm doing, that will help to keep him alive and thriving potentially, like it's all worth it. One life change and transform is worth it.
That part right there about the one life and just having that impact for one person is huge, is definitely huge. That was always my, and still my piece, that as a youth worker, if you can just get just one, you've made an impact. And even today, if even one person listening is coming on this Saturday, as I mentioned, and hear something that affirms them despite all that they're hearing in media and social media, and we know the impact of social media on our young people, not just girls, our young men as well. There's challenges there. And so one, congratulations on announcing here, you all heard it here first, that Black Boy Joy University will be launching very soon. Do you have a launch date yet?
It will be launching January 2026. So January, I'm looking at my calendar, sorry, because it's right behind me. It looks like it's January. It may be my birthday, January 12th. I'm going to be launching Black Boy Joy University.
And, apropos right around the time of MLK's birthday and all he had to do. And imagine if we had such an open and public focus on Black Boy Joy and Black Joy during that time. And that does not disparage anything that was done during that time, but just it would have fortified just all that they were fighting. And so, Craig, I really appreciate you being in the room. The mayor's going to be with us in a few minutes. I want to make sure that you two have the opportunity to just chat, because last year we had I was a commissioner last year. The Black Men and Boys Commission was a part of that support. And so I know that there are a lot of issues that she addresses and has some responsibility for that impact our daily lives and whatnot. And so I want to ask you one other question from your perspective. There's been, and full transparency, I don't believe you live and vote, in Boston, but you are aware, you have friends, you check in on the show, other people that are into the political realm. How important is it, away from candidates, that Black men's voices are represented in the vote and then after the vote? But can you talk to that about how important it is that the maintenance of and sustaining of our Black joy is often found in our fight in areas of policy, and that is often done at the booth? Your thoughts there?
Well, I think about what are the core issues that matter to us right now, and whether or not we have figures and representatives and policies that really make sure that it's actualized, from employment, whether or not it's housing, whether or not it's food access and food prices. It's about transportation and whether or not we can get to and from where we need to go. I think about how many organizations are working across branches and across lines in order to make sure that Black men have access to a program over at William James College that does that actually has behavioral health opportunities. And I think about that work courtesy of Rasan Hall. And I think about for us, we want to see that representation show up very pronounced in people sharing the stories of, like, and I'll give a perfect example. On TikTok, there's a viral post where I talk about the economic the city of Boston's Office of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion, and I mentioned that, hey, there has been funding supporting young entrepreneurs dreaming and actually finding an opportunity to get funding that could actually lead to a partnership, a contract, whether or not it's with the city or with the state. And so what I found interesting was that there was a lot of energy about people wanting to build their own business, build their own dreams. And I'm appreciative, as someone who was a resident in Jamaica Plain for 2 decades, and someone who worked in Roxbury for most of my career. And I understand how important it is that for folks who are going to show up to vote, it's about whether or not the city and the representatives are really making it clear in barbershops, in grocery stores, at faith-based communities, at the rec centers, at the Boys and Girls Club, at the Y, that people are seeing that they're visible, that when they call and looking for support, they get it, or they have folks who they can mobilize in order to get what they need. And so I know this from our 2024 presidential election. We as Black men showed up when it came to it. Like, that wasn't a question. We showed up.
But it was a narrative that wasn't properly promoted. And if you listen to some outlets, we didn't. You know what I mean? So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
80% of us showed up and voted for real. Like, we was there. If you think about the fraternities that exist, like mobilizing energy, Win with Black Men was such a phenomenal. And Kurt, I mean, shout outs to Win with Women. Like, they started Win with Black Women. Like, they started first, and we came right behind it. But we showed up, and I think that right now,
and we raised a lot of money that night. Do you remember the fundraising on that call? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. But we need to be excited about Black men participating in politics. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just like, we show up, we vote. And that's when we feel like we are seen. We are part of the conversation. We're at the table. And we also see so many representatives who are actually showing up and having conversations. And I think that that's great. What we also now need to do is make sure our youth are also involved in the conversation. Why the summit exists. So youth can actually see public figures show up and not just wave their hand and say, I'm here, and shake hands and take photos, but like, how are you really helping me to understand that you are intentionally thinking about me and making sure the schools I'm in are safe and actually created for me, that I'm not going to find myself in a prison to pipeline because I'm in this school or this program, that there are Votech programs that'll support me so that I can become the HVAC, I can own my own HVAC system, HVAC organization, not just that I am getting a career in doing it, but I can own my business, and then I could possibly be a contractor for the city and the state. That's dope.
It's something, and to the point of seeing yourself and all the things that Brother Shagun is doing, it is important to see that, and not only see it, but see intentionality around opportunities. I just seen Brother Ricardo from Privé Transportation just joined, and he often talks about the economic opportunities and being a Black man from the community, and the balance between opportunities and then us seizing them as well. But we have to have them presented. And so that does come in the space of policy. Speaking of policy, our mayor, She's a mom mayor. I understand that she is going to be joining us from home today. So who knows what's going on? But, you know, we are going to continue to talk about Black Boy Joy. I want to ask you also, we talked about politics. We talked about education in the summit. Your perspective, Craig, and I told him last night that I was going to extract everything from him like I did Aisha. I seen her just join a few minutes ago. Aisha James was on yesterday, and we talked about everything, health and mental health. Where are we from your assessment in really being intentional about addressing our health, and our mental is a part of our holistic approach to being healthy?
Yeah, brother. Who, brother? I am. If I'm being I'm being honest,
Not
I'm
if, because you are, but go ahead.
yeah. But I mean, we're at such a tipping point because if we spend a lot of time Zoom scrolling and looking at all the things that are happening to us, we will find ourselves not only disenfranchised, but some of us are super anxious, some of us are depressed, some of us are paralyzed, and we don't understand like why these things are happening to us and like
Hold on. Aisha's
come on.
Aisha said the same thing yesterday about being paralyzed and then also being creative. I'm sorry, because I view that very quickly as an affirmation. And so I'm yeah, sorry.
You're good. I'm thinking about this holistically. So I'm in a group, Men to Men, that's led by Vladimir Lusant, who's going to be one of the speakers for the Black Boy Joy Summit. He's doing that courtesy of Toy Burton. Shout out to both of them in the work. And what I think about with this is, for you specifically, we're not seeing our youth tap into resources that exist or are available to them, because it's like, well, how realistic is that actually exists and is created for me, and that I actually can get the support I need? And for many Black men, we don't actually have many spaces that are safe or brave enough for us to actually talk about the things that are going on, whether or not it's the relationships that are not working, for us, and that we're not finding the right partners, or it might be that we have family things that are going on. We have decades of trauma that we've gone through. Some are returning citizens and incarcerated. And you think about the fact that we already understand in this country that we exist in, that was never designed for us, but was designed by us. I'm just saying, right?
No. It was. I'm sorry. That was my in the background. I'm gonna put myself on mute. Go ahead and preach, sir.
No, but I'm saying, like, we understand that we are the builders of this country, and it is unfortunate that we exist in this centuries long cycle of oppression. And that's why I say, like, I enjoy being radical, of knowing that at every time, every system that we're trying to tap into that's supposed to be designed to take care of us is constantly oppressing us. And so how do we actually create our own systems, our own villages, our own networks, where whether or not you're on a basketball court, whether or not you actually do have circles that are inclusive enough for all males and men across differences and genders and all of that those spaces exist, and that we can actually have the kind of conversations that don't feel soft, because any man who actually speaks of the truths of what's going on behind the scenes, underneath the skin, from racism, a mistrust, abandonment, like, there are real things we're going through. And I think that it's more powerful for us to have a hearth where we can actually talk about those things and know we might be the resource to each other. We may not have the system that creates that for us, but we can be that to each other. And so when I think about what the possibilities are, I would not be here if I didn't have a reservoir I could tap into regularly, whether or not through group chat, whether or not it's through existing programming like Men to Men, whether or not it is because I'm creating the Black Boy Joy Summit. And that's the thing that I want to also tap into, the other resources. And I'm also thinking about programs that I just mentioned. We have Rasan Hall from Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts, partnering with William James College, so that Black men also can be trained and find certifications and experiences. So if you want to be a therapist, you actually can also do that too, or support young people or adults on the ground with navigating and working through some of the issues that they have. And I think that's powerful.
Speaking of navigating and working through the issues, and there was so much contained there, and I wish our mayor got to hear a couple of seconds of it. She just joined us, but I want to, one, be sensitive to your time. Thank you for hanging out a little bit extra, and then also I appreciate our mayor getting ready to join us as well. And so, Mayor, I wanted to check in with you, and also I know you know Craig and have seen Craig in community, but just give you an opportunity to say hello, and then Craig, also anything you would like to share about the Black Boy Joy Summit, and then Mayor, you can respond. And then, you know, we talk about Black Boy Joy, but we need some, with all due respect, Asian woman who speaks fluent Spanish and some Creole joy as well, based on some things that, but we'll get into that in a minute. And so Craig and Mayor, go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you for all that you do, and what a treat to see you.
Well, good morning. It is a continued honor to continue to serve in the city, you know, especially with your leadership. So I'm grateful. Yeah.
Well, congrats on the summit, and thank you so much for creating space for everyone and making sure that we are continuing to move forward as a city when it's a lot of headwinds coming at us.
Yes, and I appreciate your strength and your tenacity, and that you are continuing to stand 10 toes deep on things that really matter for all of us. And, you know, I'm a continued servant of the community and for the incredible work that you do. I was a Boston Educator of the Year and a Principal of the Year, served many years in the city. And this is a continued love offering that I am excited to actually continue to nurture and grow, because I believe that there's something absolutely powerful about Boston that is transcended and much different from anything we're experiencing in any other place. So thank you for all that you are and all that you do, and that you have so many of the folks within your team who are going to be showing up for the summit. And if you can come by, I know you're busy and booked, but you are also welcome to join us if you can.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
I just wanted to mention that Craig announced the Black Boy Joy University today that will be launching up out of Boston. So definitely, Craig, thank you. Come on, Mayor. Thank you. And we need that. We need some good information. So Craig, thank you for being here. And I will do my best to pop in on Saturday. As I mentioned, there's a couple of things going on. A lot of Black Joy going on a lot this summer and this fall. And so thank you, Craig, for being with us. And I'll check in with you after the show.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, I know you. And I you know, I always, my first question to you as Michelle is, how are you doing? And I know you. And I also just generally can observe countenance. So can
you tell I'm having a problem with my contacts, so I can't see on one eye right now. So I'm trying my best. I'm like, is the background blurred? Am I blurred? Everything's blurred. So I'm gonna fix it after this hour. But just
that is a good segue into, and I have to ask how you're doing, because yesterday, I want to jump right into this. Your name, I don't know if it was your name, but your office and who you are and your representation. And I agree with what Craig said about you standing 10 toes down on the Trust Act. Let's be accurate while we're talking about this. That was established. Yes, she was a city councilor then, but the understanding was that no matter who the mayor was, we would stand by this Trust Act. That has caused you to take some heat from the, let's just say one non-negative thing that can be said. There was a reference made to, out of all the rest of them, he is intelligent. I heard that part and I was like, okay, at least he has something. What is your response?
The racist explanation is always the right one with this administration. So you know what it meant.
Yes, I'm not gonna. We're not on the phone, so I'm gonna here's our mayor. So what is your response, Mayor, to what the president said from, you know, we're on the radar. We've been on the radar. And then we're going to talk a little bit about this too, partially because there have been some incidents of violence and the MBTA issue and things like that, which isn't under your purview. It's a state thing. So if I can ask, in the context of how Michelle is doing, and then what is your response to what are you even aware? Did anyone send you the clip of what the president said in the Oval Office about you in Boston and FIFA yesterday?
Yeah, I got it a couple times on my phone. You know, we live in a world where everything is just these split seconds of drama, and you know, I definitely have to live in that world, and I think we all have to. We're just on guard every minute for what's the thing that's coming next, because there's always something more. And I guess where the conversation started in some questions with the president about after some visit with the head of state was about the World Cup and how the U.S. is hosting. And oh my God, my shirt is on backwards too.
So
one of these mornings, just anyway.
When a few minutes went over, I said that I had texted the team and I said, Mayor's, I actually said, you may be home in Mirror, home is different. You don't know what's
I have stuff starting this afternoon. We have a groundbreaking. It's going to be a great day. But
overall, we're going to talk about that a little bit too, but I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, the question was about the World Cup and how Boston is a host city. Of course, the matches themselves are played at Gillette Stadium, which is in Foxborough, but Boston is we're going to host FanFest. The whole region is involved in a lot of planning around how we are going to transport everyone on the MBTA and logistically around all of the other incredible economic opportunities that are going to be here next summer between FIFA World Cup and Tall Ships and the 250th anniversary of our country, birthday of our country, how we make sure that economic opportunity goes to our businesses and goes to help close gaps instead of widen them. All of that is in conversation and in many, many, many months of planning now. Much of it is locked down by contract so that no single person, even if they live in the White House currently, can undo it. But we're in a world where for drama, for control, for pushing the boundaries, for just ongoing threats that are issued to individuals and communities who refuse to back down and comply or be obedient to a hateful agenda. We are going to continue to be who we are, and that means, unfortunately, we're going to continue to be in the conversation in a way that is targeting Boston's values and, 10 toes down, as has been said.
You better, Mayor, say it one more time.
10 toes down for Boston. I mean, it's not even just this is a 4-year period that is going to be an incredibly difficult 4 years. It's already been a difficult 9 months, but we've had 400 years of history in Boston that spans every major challenge, every major, I don't want to use the word battle because it will come across as too hard. Every major ideological battle, every major choice or fork in the road about who we are as a country, Boston has helped lead us down the right pathway. And in the moments where we get it right as a city, we help steer many, many others to do so as well. And so we're going to keep standing up for what's right. And in this case, it's a little bit of a, there's no ability to take away the World Cup games. There's no real threat when it comes to saying cities are so unsafe that they can't host the games. We know we have a lot of work to do every day in our community. And we also know that we have made so much progress in already starting from the starting point of being the safest major city and continuing to double down on what works, which is bringing people together, staying focused every single day of the year, and also making the investments that bring together community safety around housing affordability and youth opportunities and open space and parks and community programming. It all ends up being our collective responsibility to keep each other safe by creating a sense of belonging.
Mayor, one of the things that, and we can jump right into this, and thank you for your response there. And, we stand with you there, you said a lot of what you said in DC, and a lot of people have, issues with policy or whatever, but the sentiment is that whatever, I don't rock with the mayor that hard with this, that, but she held us down. And so with that being said, one of the things that is on the attention and can be cited, and you talked about it a little bit, that there is some pushback from those that are experiencing and seeing a mayor just within the last 2 weeks. We have had 3 women shot, one of which was just a couple of years of, officially being a senior. And 2, I believe, are just not just, but are injured and non-fatal. There is change going on in, violence prevention. I talked to Dr. Yarblow, and last time you was here, I was fussing, and we did see each other and we talked. And part of that conversation goes to, what you were talking about. There's intentionality about moving FIFA because it will not give us the economic boom and impact. But there's the concern about where violence is now. And a lot of us that know the economic impact, poverty, what action items can you reflect on now that are in place and being put in place that will fortify the change that was made and going on in the infrastructure? This is my passion place. So
yeah.
Can you give us some concrete things that happened or are happening that will help combat this pushback on a narrative about one of the safest cities?
Yeah. So I'll say first, in terms of what has been happening and ongoing infrastructure across the entire year, often we would start to engage in this conversation. Now, years ago, we would start to engage in this conversation around the summertime, right? Gearing up for summer. Okay, now we're through the summer. We're doing all of the response throughout the summer. And then we sort of, took a breather or kind of ramped down the intense focus on safety once by the time Labor Day or something came around. That is not our approach for the last 4 years, where it has been every single day. There's an intense focus every single week. There are convenings, no matter whether it's been a hotter period or quieter. And that has meant an intense surge of resources throughout the year, especially during the summer, but ongoing kind of supports throughout every season of the year. If you just look at that period that had been the high intensity and high focus, this last summer, just by the numbers, we had one of the safest summers on record. No homicides in July, just an outpouring of BCYF After Dark events. So young people always had somewhere to have fun safely, be together, be out and about, programming everywhere, block party grants, programming through Boston Public Health Commission and the violence intervention programs that exist, and relationships that had been built up all throughout the year. We are now expanding youth summer jobs to year round as well. We are now taking some of what we know has worked over the summer to create opportunity and fun and belonging, and to expand that throughout the rest of the year as well. We've had more officers graduate from our police academy who have been the most diverse and most representative classes culturally, linguistically, from Boston, a large portion from Boston, from our cadet program, and from other recruitment methods that have been new and different that the department has used. And so the commissioner has then deployed our officers in new and creative ways as well. We just completed Faith in Blue Week for the city of Boston, the 4th annual, where we really celebrated the relationships and the roles from our faith leaders and faith communities in community safety. Part of that was doing a community CompStat event that, again, shows how we share our information and really design the safety strategy in partnership with community members. And now there have been deployments of more citywide bike units, more what are called community interaction teams that are walking beats only, that are really out and about in the community as part of the very first assignments that some of our new officers, once they graduate from the academy, have. And all of that is building towards a vision of safety where our police department is focused on community policing, policing meaning the legacy that Boston has of focusing on trust and relationships and the real
of the legacy, when you say of recent, in the past maybe couple of decades that they've,
yes.
Mayor, while I'm there, if I could one, I was getting ready to interrupt, and I could hear Uncle Thaddeus saying, let her answer the question, because I did ask you to give us some concrete things that have happened. However, and you've said this before, there's been this increase of incidents. You did not know, but the one that happened in Orchard Gardens about 6 weeks ago, Nia Grace and I literally missed it by when we rode through there, people still had their hands on their cheeks. And so we literally, and then the other night, it was on that same block. And so you've said this, where the numbers are still, and I saw the stats and I read them. The numbers are what they are. And I think accuracy is important. But where the numbers are still active are in certain areas in Mayor. So what?
Yeah. And I will say, in addition to geographic areas, it's also really important to note when there are other trends. And obviously, police investigations have to be totally thorough, and we can't, jump to anything or say anything prematurely until everything is finished. But even in the most recent set of incidents that happened, there was a very strong tie of people who were experiencing homelessness or housing instability. And we know that it's all connected, that if you are not fully in control of your own housing and able to be sure that you're going to have a safe and affordable, healthy place to live, you are that much more vulnerable when it comes to all sorts of challenges in our society. And so that focus on not just doing the one thing, but realizing and investing in violence prevention as tied to housing stability and food security and the opioid crisis and providing services, all of those sort of needs have popped up even in the last several incidents too.
And some things, just from street and you have a platform, you open up some things and your eyes can't unsee. And so I'm aware of some unfortunate details with things. However, I know that this is on the radar, but there's some concern that a lot of us that move in the helping space, you're in government, you called out the housing thing 2 years ago this month about what was going to go on with taxes as well. And so I just, the holidays are coming, and there is this, and Dr. Yablo and I are going to meet. I talked to Brother Randy from 10,000 Fearless, that they're, I fuss, but in the background doing some things. And so, Mayor, we have our Petrina Martin Sherry that's going to join us in a couple of seconds. And one of those spaces that are impactful is reentry, and they're doing something this week. So a couple of things I want to attempt to try to squeeze in. We did not know that those statements were going to be made from the White House, so that took some time. And I would ask just Trina, as I affectionately call her, if she just gives us a couple of extra minutes in the background before she joins us with you, Mayor, to talk a little bit in greetings about reentry. One of the other things that has been active when people find out you're coming on and whatnot has been, and it's not as active among the pundits, but still in the community and post. If you can squeeze into updates on streets and, Cummins Highway and Blue Hill Ave, there's still some concern about what Anthony told me to stop saying was white poles and speed bumps. Mayor, can you give us a quick update if there is any impact of some of the federal cuts that were made by, and then we got 3 minutes. We got a couple of other things to squeeze in as well. And I want to end on a good note, because with Petrina coming on, you can't, you think about Dr. James, and there's some celebratory things to mention as well as we end out. So white poles and speed bumps, there's been a variation in changes, but there's also been some concern about Blue Hill Ave and traffic enforcement, and then Cummins Highway. But then there's been threats of cuts. Where are we with that? And Mayor, I'm going to ask you, because you're still technically a candidate, and we didn't even get into everything post the election yet. But as a candidate, I'm going to ask you to squeeze that into 45 seconds. Blue Hill Ave, feds.
Yep. So, it actually connects to what we were talking about before, because being the safest city also means roadway safety. And again, all the changes are designed to save lives ultimately. And we have to, it's a complex trade-off of how much do we change up how things had been when we hear from residents who live right on those streets that it's not safe for them. And there might even have been incidents where lives were lost, and that could have been prevented if there had been a different, formulation, or cars had been going slower and this and that. So I will be on one street and I will hear demands, intense, just need from the local neighbors for speed humps, ways to slow down the cars. And then I will hear someone from 2 streets over who said to me, please get rid of all the speed humps because it's ruining my vehicle. It's slowing everything down. So we're all kind of experiencing the same things, but from different angles. And sometimes it's from even in one person. Sometimes you want to drive really fast down a street because you got to get where you're going. And then sometimes you want the cars to slow down because you want to cross the street when you're walking. It's a lot to balance. We are really trying to make sure we balance all of the pieces and all the feedback in the right way. Some of the projects are already up and running, like Cummins. Others, like Blue Hill Ave, we had been planning to apply for a significant chunk of additional federal funding that would have been in the scale of $100 million or more to do the entire project. That is under some bit of reevaluation now that we see the federal funding picture. No matter what happens with where the money comes from, we need to come up with the right plan for the community. And we hear that that has to be something that people feel is safe, works for the businesses, gets people where they need to go, and also recognizes how many people are using transportation and transit on that corridor.
Mayor, thank you. And I think this can cover a few things, and then we're going to bring in Petrina to just talk a little bit about their event and the impact of the work that you're doing with reentry. But do you believe that, and please excuse Alexa, oh, God, I'm sorry, I think this is the first time this happened with you on. Do you believe that we are at risk? There's a lot of intentionality from this administration to throw us into chaos. And part of that is the condition of our cities and things like that. Are we at risk, Mayor, of starting a project like that? Federal funding gets cut, and then our streets appear to look dilapidated. And there's, that. So if you could, yes, I'll ask you as a candidate, yes or no, do you believe that are we at risk of something like that? Not just with the streets, but just development projects, one of your favorite subjects, development projects. Are we at risk? Yes or no?
So the kind of short answer is no, in that we would never start a project unless we're sure that all the funding is in hand. So the road, for example, won't get dug up and then left there because the funding changes, because we wouldn't even go to that step unless it was set. But what happens is projects that need to happen because the road's already starting to get deteriorated, those don't get started if the funding gets pulled away. And there have been a couple places where it's on a smaller scale, but an intersection here or there was going to get redone with federal funding that we're now trying to figure out where we get that money from. And it's not, there's not a hole in the ground right now, but it's not the condition that it should be in. And we had a plan and we were going to be able to deliver that for community members. And now we're just trying to figure out the funding picture for a few of those spots. It's a larger conversation with the state. It's a larger conversation about what our priorities are locally. So first and foremost has to be safety and state of good repair. Just things need to feel like they're smooth, workable. They're at least up to a baseline, which in and of itself is a lot of work to do all the repaving, to do all the sidewalk maintenance, to make sure crosswalks aren't faded away and that the lights work. And then the redesigns happen on top of that where we can figure it out.
So those impacts are not just on projects of upgrades, but also projects of maintenance and sustaining the good conditions of our street. Mayor, last thing, I'm going to bring Petrina in now. And with all fairness, I know it's on the other side of Boston and you didn't have, Mira the last 3 years. I don't think you've missed the anniversary, but
I know I saw it's 18 plus though, and it's just
and you can't oh, Mayor. Okay, that's fair. You can't bring Mira. Oh, well, hold on. If you want to, because we remember 22, you left security and drove your happy self over to I hope that if Mira can come, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just hard at night with her. So I will
if you can't
do my best, but it's hard these days. But I will wish you the fullest love and congratulations and gratitude for 5 years of making sure our community has a space and a place to ask the hard questions, to try to take, because sometimes information or facts can be out there, but they're not highlighted in a way that actually connects to people's day-to-day lives, or, the issues aren't kind of, I know when I come here every month, I'm going to get just double down on certain topics over and over again. And that gives us a chance to actually go into some real detail beyond the, what was it? Someone was saying clip culture in the comments that we live in. And that's really important. So actually, can I make a quick sneak announcement on here while I'm here?
You can.
Okay. On these same lines, we're going to share later today that in 2 weeks, we'll be doing a first ever State of the Schools address. This kind of ties into what we were saying about the world right now and all the challenges that we're facing, and education and public education being under attack right now, but also our schools being a place where every challenge that our families are facing comes into the classroom, and our educators, heroes in the classroom, have to find a way to help support whatever issue young people and their families are living with. We in Boston have the oldest public school district in the country. We believe it should be the best and the first choice for families. And over this last year, I'd taken a look at some of the annual big speeches that the mayor historically has given, even before me. And many of them were to the business community in one form or another. Sometimes it was the same grouping of people, hosted by a different organization. And I had declined one of those speeches this year because the Municipal Research Bureau was not, had put out some misinformation about municipal finance, how our budget works, this and that and the other. So in place of that address, I really wanted to make sure that we were putting a focus on where our investments just can change the whole world and our future. And that is in our young people, our families, our public schools, public education. So stay tuned. It's a smaller venue, so not everyone will be able to come in person, but I'm sure there'll be some opportunity to watch. And this will be a chance to highlight, thank, and challenge us to all get involved in education in our city and for our young people.
Mayor, thank you. One of those other spaces where, I'm going to start with Petrina and probably will slip into Trina by the time we get out of here. But Mayor, one of the other spaces that is impactful, and there's the things of the school to prison pipeline, and some people have fallen into that. And then they come home, and and I don't know if you heard, Brother Fuquan got released yesterday. And so I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but re-entry and bringing our brothers and sisters back into the community is something in which you've made an investment. You have an office of our ORC, Office of Reentry.
Returning Citizens.
I'm sorry, I'm old school. And so there's an event that Petrina and her office is putting together. Also, Petrina has been a colleague of Dr. James as well, and we're doing something for Dr. James in honor for tonight. So I'm going to get off screen, give you 2 minutes, Mayor. I know you got to go, and Petrina, we've delayed you a few minutes, but I'm going to give you a couple of minutes just to converse about reentry, say hello, and then Petrina will jump into the event coming this Friday.
Good morning. Good morning, Mayor Wu. It's wonderful to see you. Thank you, Jimmy, for having me. I want to first start off by saying to Mayor Wu, thank you so much for being such an incredible partner to Boston Medical Center. You and your office and Boston Public Health Commission have just been amazing in making sure that we are providing equitable spaces to healthcare. So thank you for that. But I also want to say, in the theme of being 10 toes down, that last night I was with you and you were 10 fingers down. And it was so amazing to see you in concert with the amazing Yo-Yo Ma. And so again, thank you for all of the work that you're doing in the arts. I was so touched when you said that English, or not even Mandarin, was your first language, but your first language was music. And I just want to applaud you for all the things that you're doing in making equitable spaces for everybody in our community, healthcare, for our returning citizens, and for the arts.
Good morning. Trina's blowing my cover here. I was doing a secret thing. I see Trina there being like, what?
You perform with Yo-Yo Ma? Like, No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This city is just full of the most amazing talent, activism, determination to make sure that we're all taking care of each other, moving in the right direction. So I count our incredible friend Yo-Yo Ma in that. I count Miss Petrina in that. Boston Medical Center entering its 30th year now. So congratulations on a big milestone for being the safety net for the entire region. And thanks for all that you do. Thanks for always being there. Every space where something important is happening and we're having a conversation about how to make sure we're doing the right thing. Trina's in the house.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mayor, thank you for being with us. And I can't fuss too much because you're a mom. And so, but I know you will have representation there, but thank you for your partnership and being for the past 4 years, 3 years and some months rather, coming into this space to have these conversations. I appreciate you and I will be in touch.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye. Jimmy, hello. Thank you.
How you doing?
Thank you. How are you?
I am doing well. I'll be honest. There is a nephewish sort of sentiment that I was feeling in my chair while I was watching you in the background, and I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, I didn't want to get in trouble, but I also know that you understand that information is important. And so, but thank you. Because I want to honor you as a guest, just like the mayor and everyone else, of your time. And so thank you for your patience. And so this has been a long time coming. We're here to talk about a particular thing, but am I right? Is this your first time?
It is my first time. I am so excited. I think we've been having this conversation for a long time. And I'm a fan of yours. I always just love everything you're doing in the city of Boston. And I'm a fan of this show. So thank you I know that my colleague, Dr. James, comes on a lot. And so thank you for your continued partnership with her and with us as a health system, making sure that, the communities we serve get the adequate information about healthcare, about food insecurity, all of the things. And today we're here to talk about something that is really near and dear to my heart, and that is access for returning citizens. So thank you.
So I know our time is a little bit shorter, and I know you probably have a tight schedule and you have this event coming, but if I can infringe on you a little bit, because when it's folks' first time here, I like them to give just a little overview. And I know you, as the mayor said, you don't go to events in this city of celebration and or strategy without seeing you in the room. And it varies from health to blackness to business to you're just everywhere. But can you give us about 90 seconds of who you are, with all due respect, who Petrina is, and then lead that into, you made the statement that this is a special place for you. You act as if all of them are special to you, but you said that reentry, and the title of the event, and I'm going to be in the background because managing all three of y'all today has been very interesting, but I'm going to get the items we need in the background to share with the community. But there's an event Friday, and you mentioned that reentry is a space that's special to you. So correlate who you are and why that is such a passion place for you, Petrina, if you will. And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So again, I'm happy to be here. I am the Vice President of Community Engagement and External Affairs at Boston Medical Center Health System. And so what that means is I represent the communities of Boston to my institution. And so a lot of my work deals with advocacy. So my relationships range from, federal government, state government, local government, but also the BMC relationships that we have with our corporate partners, but most importantly, our community partners. So I work with everything from our community health centers to our community-based organizations, our community health centers, to make sure that the issues of the city of Boston are first and foremost and known at Boston Medical Center, so that the programs that we are standing up, the work that we're doing, the communities are represented in that. And so the advocacy that we're able to do with our, with our policymakers, with our corporate partners, it all comes with the community voice at the table. And so the thing that we're talking about today with returning citizens, it is really near and dear to my heart. Some people know, some people don't. I have a son who is an incredible actor, incredible superstar, 3 years on Broadway, 37 feature films, lots of TV. But about 10 years ago, he found himself as a 22-year-old in the city of Boston, making a mistake that cost him 18 months in the House of Corrections. So, in the seat that I sat in leadership in this city, I was faced with something that a lot of our residents are faced with. I was a mother who had a son at the House of Corrections. And so I sat there, like, when your child goes to jail, it's not just that one person who goes to jail. Your entire family serves that time with you in many ways. And so I just remember going to visit him and meeting other mothers and other family members and thinking, like, man, what would I do if I didn't have the resources that I had? If I didn't have I wasn't able to advocate for him in the space that I sat in. And so I got to know so many young men and women who were behind bars, who are now like my babies. Like, I've written letters of recommendation, helped them get jobs. And so it opened up a level of advocacy for me that is really important, because what I was able to see firsthand is that there are a lot of resources in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for returning citizens, but it's not very, very clear on how to access those resources. And so if there's one word to describe re-entry, Jimmy, it really would be, for me, it'd be landmines, it'd be obstacles. And so what we've been able to do at Boston Medical Center is work with incredible partners like the Attorney General's office, like the Commissioner of Parole, just to figure out, like, how can we make some of these resources more available to people who are returning citizens and to their families. And so that's what these events that we've been doing for the last few years are all about.
It is. So as much as I have seen you, in community and, connected and known, it's not anything that you're, running around with a flag saying, but I had never, known that you had that experience, Trina. And so it there's nothing like unfortunate, personal experience in a space. And my old pastor used to teach, it wasn't the best experience, but it had to happen and happen that way. Exactly. And that passion from your experience. And I know what it is to be in a personal experience and you're connected and you can't make the connection for someone when it's personal. I know that space. And so I know that also that frustration for you, but then you sit back and think, I'm connected. So imagine what regular resident Joe Schmo and Julianne, I don't know, Loretta is going through. So one, thank you, because I learned something about you today, and even more so. And I know you're passionate, but I wanted to tell us, and I want the folks to know that what is going on this Friday. I'm going to make sure we put the link for registration in there as well. But what took that passion? You have been, shout out to BMC, because they're very smart to work with folks like you and Gina and Dr. James and others. But you've also, they've recognized your leadership in this space. And so is your focus now just this, or are you still overseeing sort of the general area of community engagement? Because I've seen you've done a lot at BMC. So where's the area of focus? And then tell us about the focus on Friday.
Oh my gosh. So two things. I want to go back to one thing you said about sometimes I don't think that everything we experience is just for us. And so, I mean, the situation was what it was. My son made a mistake, but my son is, and he, served his time and did whatever. But he's also someone who is, a film star, and so has a platform to be able to talk about this across the country, and he does. So no, this is not the one thing that I do. It's like many things, but everything I do is based on community. And so making sure that whatever the issue of the community is, whether it's vaccines, whether it's food insecurities, whether it's access to jobs in biotech, whether it is making sure people get vaccines, that the information of men's health, women's health, mental health is out there. I want to connect those things and create access points for the community, because it shouldn't matter what your zip code is. What matters is that you have access to all the things that you need access to. But back to this issue of returning citizens, what we are doing, Dr. James and I, a few years ago, went to LA and we met with Father Greg Boyle. And so for those of you who do not know Father Greg, he is the founder of Homeboys Industry, which is the largest reentry gang intervention program in the country. And it's based in Los Angeles. Maybe you've seen documentaries about it, but he gets people right as they are coming out of prison, and they get into his program, and he gets people out of gangs. He works with them on mental health issues, on social emotional re-engagement. Eventually he works on people to get their records expunged, to get job training. And when Thea and I went to LA to meet with him, I'd never seen anything like it. It's a 40-year-old institution, and everybody who works for Homeboys Industry, everybody who works there, they have been previously incarcerated. And so we were so impressed with the work that he did. We wanted to take some learnings from what he was doing so successfully and bring it back to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And so we've had the great fortune of partnering with Attorney General Andrea Campbell and the work that she is doing to really sit down with institutions across the Commonwealth and figure out institutions who serve returning citizens to see what we could do to create access. And so, as we said before, Jimmy, there are a lot of resources out there, but what we're finding is that people come out of jail and they just don't know where to start. And it's not as easy. Reentry isn't as easy as you get out of jail, you get released, and you start over. There's so many stigmas for people who are returning citizens and so many obstacles, everything from getting an ID to getting health insurance. And so we wanted to create a space, Boston Medical Center wanted to create a space where people could come and get the information that they needed without that stigma. And, we can walk them directly to resources that they need. And so that's what this is all about. We're bringing in Father Greg to sit down and talk to returning citizens. We want them to be our special guests so that they feel welcome, and we can talk to them about and answer their questions about everything from resources to jobs, to resources to mental health, resources to court systems, how to re-engage with your family, how to get your kids back, how to get housing, all of that.
I wanted to say, Petrina, when you talked about access, and thank you for giving that comprehensive overview, one about what you do, what's priority for you, as well as what some of the event will focus on. I am familiar with Homeboy Industries going back to my federal time at the Federal Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families. If you remember, President Bush had that Healthy Marriage Initiative, and it was an African-American point of that. And I remember going to LA and being aware of, and I don't know if you remember the rites of passage that they were kind of associated with, definitely familiar. I did not know it was 40 years. One of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention, I'm going to connect them after Gina, but I'm not sure if you're aware of Yard Time Services. This is a brother that has come home, formerly incarcerated, wrongful conviction. Brother Joseph Bennett, I'm sure you're familiar with the name. He wants to get connected, so I'll connect him with Gina. And then I know you know this name, Brother Tony Brewer, that is currently recovering from heart surgery, sir. I need you to rest. I'll get him connected with Gina as well, because he's on the public safety committee for the Black Men and Boys Commission. And so, I always have had a regard for you, but timing is everything. I think the timing of us talking today to talk about this event and me to these couple of connections here that can be made for the ongoing work, but there's a different level of respect and regard for you, both personally and professionally.
Oh,
And
thank
so, Trina, I really, appreciate the work you're doing there. I know that you and Dr. James, and the fact that you just say Thea, one, you honor her space, but it shows of the friendship and camaraderie and the kindred spirit because you two have worked together and done so much, for our community. And so I thank you for being a low key from afar inspiration. And as you said, we over the years of Trina, we got to do something. Well, James, just call it. It starts now. And so thank you. Hopefully, I'll see you maybe later this evening. But if not, I understand because you
Yes.
got a whole bunch of stuff to get ready to do.
I'm trying. And thank you so much for honoring our dear friend, Dr. James. She's been doing this work for a long time. Like she's been a pioneer of the work that we are all doing now. She's been doing for years. So thank you to you and your institution for honoring her. Thank you for having me. I just want to tell the people who are listening, please join us this Friday. Doors open at 6:00 for our Returning Citizens event with Father Greg Boyle in conversation with Attorney General Andrea Campbell. It will be at Bethel AME Church in partnership with Pastor Ray Hammond and Pastor Gloria White Hammond, who are incredible community partners and who have also been doing this work 10 toes down in the community for decades. So thank you for having me, Jimmy. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing. And I hope that the community comes out and helps us support returning citizens this coming Friday, the 17th at Boston Medical Center with Bethel AME Church. Doors open at 6:00. So thank you.
Thank you for being here. And I know that's an easy slip because there's so much that goes on there. But you also are in community as well. So, but Petrina, thank you. Thank you to Gina. And I believe I'm saying it right. Joelle.
Yes,
In the
Joelle.
background,
Great team.
made this happen. So thank you. And I'll connect Gina with Joey and also Brother Brewer in maybe a month or so after he rests from heart surgery.
Yes, well, we are continuing to lift him up. And thank you so much for connecting us and getting the word out. So thank you, Jimmy. Bless you.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. You have a good day. It's awesome to start the day off with you all, but ending this 2-hour segment today with you has been awesome as well. So Petrina, thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Okay, everyone. On the day of one of the probably next to the ICA biggest event that we've had in the past 5 years and some months, we scheduled a 2-hour show. But let it be a reminder to everyone of what the priority is for this platform and for me. We're celebrating and we're going to acknowledge great community folks, and we're celebrating tonight. But there's no celebration without impact. And so that's one of the reasons when I discovered that we were going to be on for 2 hours today, I said it was most apropos to happen. And so thank you all for being with us this morning. Thank you to my brother Craig. Thank you to, I will say for today, my friend Michelle. And then thank you to Petrina as well, a friend and colleague and community for being with us. This evening at 7 p.m., we will gather to celebrate the Java with Jimmy, Java After Dark 5-year Red Cup celebration to honor the life of David William Hart and his humanitarianism by giving a Red Cup to Janae Osterholt of A Beautiful Experience. Additionally, we will honor the life of Katrina Uweller Clark, who was a great champion for community volunteerism. Those Red Cups are being given to Mario Rodriguez as well as Milton Dos Soto for their work into the Junto and the 3 block parties. And then additionally, in honor of Dr. Thea James, as mentioned a few moments ago, we are giving the Red Cup for community health equity work to Betty Francisco, who is not able to be with us this evening, but Dr. James is attending, who was last year's first recipient. We are giving her an award as well. And there are a couple of other awards that are being giving out this evening on behalf of me, the host. We will be treated with music from Jeff Two Times, as well as right before the celebration, we will have a conversation titled What's in the Cup, moderated by Nia Grace. That is the plan for this evening. We will have very, very light refreshments. And please do me a favor. Well, never mind. We will have very, very light refreshments this evening, as well as there will be a cash bar. I believe you should bring a card. They accept electronic payments. I'm not sure if they actually accept cash, but have both. And the mocktail is provided by and sponsored by the Museum of Science. So that is a free cost. And then we are going to debut a combination of the old Jalapeño and the Red Eye. And we're calling that the Jalapeño Red Eye. Those drinks were curated by Nia Grace of Grace by Nia. And at 7 p.m., we will open the doors to the event and start the event. And at 7:30 p.m. So I haven't said too much because I just went and picked it up yesterday. And there's a red carpet from 7 to 7:30, about 7:20. And then we're going to get ready to gather. We're going to give out the awards. We're going to have the conversation. And then we're going to let Brother Jeff Two Times loose. And we're going to celebrate. All right. I'm going to be me. And so I just need to say this. I am very sensitive to those that come out and support and those that support virtually as well. But I saw that registration list, and there's a lot of people coming. And I know that I'm going to want to spend as much time in quick conversation and pictures and whatnot. But there's someone this evening that is going to be rushing me along. You got to do this, you got to do that, and do this and do that. So I'm just asking for your forgiveness now if I am hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Pick, smile, and keep it moving. That I know I don't have to say that, but yes, I do, because I'm me, and I chart out my own path of how I move. But tonight's path will be very quick and fast. So please don't be offended, because I'm always cognizant of this. You know, who does he think he is now, and all this? You know, no. So that's it for me. We're going to get ready to go. I'm dare not going into any of the comments today. I saw Brother Joey's and Brother Tony's, and that is it. So we're going to get ready to go. Breakfast with Java this morning. Awesome, Janky. I don't know. There's some places, Sharon, that I don't know if they do that. But if there is, don't forget to tip the bartender tonight. The other thing that the number two questions that I received, the top two questions that I received yesterday was the attire, and then, am I accepting gifts? Yes, I am accepting gifts. Monetary is always welcome. But yes, there will probably be a Cash App display or QR code tonight. And also at this late date, but I have been saying here on the show that, you know, tonight's my desired attire for my guest is any combination of red, black, and white. All black with a speck of white and red. All red with a speck of white and black. And all white with a speck. Well, you shouldn't be wearing all white after Labor Day. Winter white. But red, black, and white, and think sneaker ball. The other thing is, I know people are coming right from work. So that's my ideal. That's the theme I'm going for, which I got to get ready to get out of here because I got to pick up a couple of things. But just come. I do also encourage you to pre-register, because if you arrive at 7 to register on site, you can register, but you will ask to step aside as those that have pre-registered will enter, because there's capacity policies. And then at about 7:20, those that register on site or will be invited to come in. So I would encourage you to register now to get that done. All right. Let me put the link in for those that Brother Tony, you better be taking care of yourself, man. Dina, I'm getting in the comments and then we're gonna be here and I gotta get out of here because I'm cutting all my hair off today. So no, I'm joking. Ain't no way in the world. Thank you all for being here this morning, and we'll see you this evening at 7:00. I'm telling and reminding folks now, do not text, do not call me, search Facebook, the link to the museum, everything, all the information that you need is there. Parking is on site. At max is $24. What else? Why would somebody call? I think that would probably be it. So yes, we will see everyone this evening at 7 p.m. It's starting to hit me. At the museum tonight at 7 p.m. And there's some special guests that will be there with us. So talk to everyone tonight at 7 p.m. Thank you for being here. I think I got everything that I was supposed to announce today. All right. Peace, everyone.